Welcome to the playoff push for Week 30 with Greg Lawless. I'm Jason Seguini. On today's show, the Red Bulls are rolling, the Fire are fading, and will DC make it to the dance? But first, let's take a look at how the standings sit.
Jason, no change in the Western Conference. The LA Galaxy still on top of the table there. Seattle Sounders in second place and Real Salt Lake in third. In the East, Sporting Kansas City holding on to first place, but Philadelphia Union jump up into second and the Columbus Crew get into third place. In the wild card race, FC Dallas holding on to that top spot in the wild card race with the Colorado Rapids in behind them. The New York Red Bulls climb ahead of the Houston Dynamo, and they held that third spot, and the Dynamo with that final wild card position.
All right, that takes us to the movers for this week. And speaking of those Red Bulls, they are our movers this week, Greg, after a big win against the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, 2-0 over the Galaxy at Red Bull Arena on Tuesday night. Great performance, too. Thierry Henry and Luke Rogers very good up top, and the defense held strong. A third straight shutout for the Red Bulls backline. And now, you know what? They're only 2 points out of first place. They could easily catch Sporting Kansas City before this is all up. The Eastern Conference is so topsy-turvy right now, pretty much anyone could win it.
From the good to the bad, we move to missed opportunities. Last weekend, the Chicago Fire rested some starters in their crucial match against the Houston Dynamo and only were able to get a point out of that game, Greg. That hurts their chances.
Yeah, they did. They rested some starters because of the Open Cup final on Tuesday, which they lost. And you're right, this was a 6-pointer against Houston. They could have made up some great ground. If they had won that match, they would be 3 points out of the wild card spot that Houston holds on to right now. As it stands, they have some work to do. However, the Fire do have some decent chances here. They have Dallas at home. They go to DC. That's going to be a huge match. And then they're at home to finish the season against their rivals, the Columbus Crew. So I think the Fire have a chance, but they missed one last week against Houston.
All right, the Fire is still alive, but 4 teams are not. That takes us to the final verdict. For a little while now, we probably knew that Toronto FC and the New England Revolution weren't going to make the playoffs, but that New York result means 2 more teams join them.
Yeah, with the Red Bulls picking up 3 points against the Galaxy, that means that the San Jose Earthquakes and Chivas USA were knocked out of contention. I think San Jose have a lot of work to do if they're going to try and get back to the playoffs as they did in 2010. Chivas USA, let's remember, they were already in a rebuilding year, and Robin Fraser, I think, should be very happy with the progress they made in 2011.
So 4 more teams eliminated this week, but there are still 3 teams on the outside looking in that are still alive. And one of those teams, Greg, is DC United. They're 5 points back right now, but they do have some games in hand.
They do. They haven't been playing well. 2 losses in a row, but their schedule looks favorable down the stretch. They go to Vancouver, the last place team in all of MLS, and then 3 home games, including 2 massive ones against fellow playoff hopefuls, the Chicago Fire and the Portland Timbers. So I think if DC United can get their attack rolling again, with Dwayne De Rosario being the focal point, they have a chance to make up some real ground and get some good points to push New York and Houston, who are holding those 2 final wildcard spots.
If DC makes it in, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? I think the Houston Dynamo are the one right now who are struggling. I think that New York got some momentum, especially with that win against LA. The Houston Dynamo, not really sure what they're going to be playing, what sort of form they're going to play, what their style is. That game against Chicago would not give anybody any sort of hope that this is a team that can make a push down the stretch.
All right, next up, we're going to take a look at the games to watch this weekend. It's a light schedule for MLS this weekend because of the international date, but there is one huge matchup taking place in Seattle as the Philadelphia Union come to town. That game is 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday.
Yeah, and the Philadelphia Union, if they can get a win in this, they jump into first place in the Eastern Conference. They will leapfrog Sporting Kansas City for that position. And you know what? The way they've been playing, the way their defense has been solid, and Farid Mondragon, the goalkeeper, will be back for them. That's a huge pickup for them down the stretch if they can get those 3 points. On the other side, the Seattle Sounders still have a chance at winning the Supporters' Shield. 3 points at home will be massive if they're going to put some pressure on the Galaxy for that.
All right, enjoy that game. Enjoy the weekend of action, including the U.S. against Honduras, and we'll be back on the playoff push next week.